Check the sound from the bubble show. Check the sound from the bubble show. All right, we good. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. Bear with me 1 second. All right, Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua broke a thumb. Yahweh Shemal, thumb by Shem Yahshua. Priest and officer of 1,000 Yadai. I'm holding it down. It's Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night for Captain 10,000 Ahmad Yashar. This is the Brotherhood class. Now, understand this: Black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman. Brotherhood is important. Brotherhood is extremely important, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man, and woman, because we want to give our love, you know what I mean, to all of these other nations and their gods and their way of life and their living. And we gotta cease that behavior, Black man, Latino man, and woman. We gotta understand that this Bible right here contains our records. This Bible right here holds our identity. And our identity is that we are the Israelites of antiquity, that Black man and woman. We are the real Jews, that Latino man and First Nation man and woman. We are the real Israelites. Now, first we got to understand this, right? Here in America, my topic for tonight is interracial marriage. I know everybody's talking about that sister. What's her name? Kenita Brown Jackson, sister that's running. That's about to be Supreme Court, the new Supreme Court judge that Joe Biden himself nominated. Understand this here. Kenita Brown Jackson. Now, understand this, right, Black man, Latino man, and woman. Our people will look at that and be like, oh, man, good for that sister. She coming up. You know what I mean? But you have to understand, like GEN.YAHANNA was breaking down yesterday on Black Watch, if you was paying attention, if you was listening, that sister hates Black and Latino First Nation men. And believe it or not, she hates you sisters too, because she's married to an oppressor. And it's too much of that I've been seeing. You know what I mean? Where you see our brothers with the oppressor's daughter, with Becky and Susan and Gretchen and Olga. You see, you know what I mean, these sisters out here with Bill, Bob, and Fred. Understand this, man. The Most High God is against interracial marriage. The Lord is against it. I don't want to hear, oh, but love is love, Yediah. But what if I fell in love with the oppressor? What if I fell in love with the oppressor's daughter? Let's understand this, man. Our God, you know what I mean, said that interracial marriage was a sin. That's what our God said. And don't just take my word for it. We can go in the Bible. The scriptures say to prove all things. Now, if I could, let me get the book of Deuteronomy, right? Okay. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3. Also, I'll be answering your questions tonight. If y'all have any questions, you know what I mean, make sure you type them in. I'll be answering y'all questions tonight. But understand this, right? I'm not just up here talking. Interracial marriage is definitely against the Most High. And a lot of our people partake in that and get into it and think, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Let me show you why it's wrong and why it's a sin according to our God. Because the problem is in the Christian church, they'll tell you, oh, love is love, baby. So you can't help who you fall in love with. I'm also going to show you that homosexuality is an abomination, man. Now, read what you got in Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. I buy y'all.
God, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
What does the Lord mean when he says, neither shalt thou make marriages with them? What is the Lord saying? I'll give you some context, right? This is when we was coming out of Egypt. When we was coming out of slavery. Now, I mean, we walked out of Egypt the first time. This time we walked out of Egypt. Now, the Lord is telling us, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Meaning, this is what we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to marry these heathen nations. Right. We're not supposed to do that. Because the thing is, and I don't understand why you would want to do that anyway, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman.
Right.
First of all, speak to you brothers for a minute. Our women are the most beautiful women on this earth. Like, these other heathen women cannot touch our women, man. And the you sisters out there that want to go get with the oppressor and his son and these other nations, an African or an East Indian or an Arab, good night, or a Samoan or Polynesian, there's something wrong with you, man. Ain't no other man better than that Black, Latino, and First Nation man. The Lord is telling the children of Israel then neither shalt thou make marriages with them. And understand this, sex is marriage.
Right.
I'm hearing a lot of that garbage too, talking about, oh no, sex ain't marriage. It consummates the marriage, which makes it marriage, dummy.
Right.
Understand this. When you lay down with that sister, brother, you are marrying her. Sister, when you lay down with that man, with that brother, you are marrying him. The scriptures say Adam knew Eve and she conceived, meaning Adam married his wife. That's why, Adam also said, therefore shall man leave father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife and become one flesh.
Right.
Now you becoming that one family unit. Our people don't understand the importance of sex now. You out here having reckless sex with everybody. You think you can go and sleep with the oppressor's daughter and sleep with these other nations, or worse, you know what I mean? You out there marrying, you know what I mean, our sisters, you know what I mean, and throwing them away.
Right.
When you're not supposed to be throwing away that Black, Latino, and First Nation woman. You shouldn't even be marrying these heathens anyway. It is a sin against our God to have sex, you know what I mean, with these heathen women, to marrying them, man. That's why the Lord said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Read on.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
That's heavy. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. If you a Black man, if you a Latino man or a First Nation man, you ain't supposed to give your daughter to the oppressor. Our daughters are not to marry these heathens, man. Let me tell you something. So, brother, I admire the brother, Richard. Richard Williams, Serena and Venus and Serena's father. I applaud that brother.
Right.
Because when Serena married that devil, he wasn't in attendance for her daughter's wedding. He wasn't. He said, the oppressor is my enemy. He said, the oppressor's been trying to kill me all my life and it's discriminated against me. He said, the oppressor hates me and I do not deal with him. He said, I ain't raised y'all like that. I admire that brother. He need a flyer.
Right.
And how dishonorable that was for Serena Williams to marry that oppressor, knowing that's not how she came up. And I don't want to hear the excuses because I see it all the time. Like some of you are saying, well, it ain't no good brothers out here. There ain't no good brothers. Bitch, Salakia for the language. There's plenty of good brothers out here. They in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. The problem is you sisters ain't looking hard enough. You ain't looking, you know what I mean, for a good man. Because if you was, you come in here and you get Abadaya. You come in here and get Shabar Zaki. You come in here and get Hawar, Kalakazaz, all why. Understand this. Brothers is available. Understand this, sis. You're not looking hard enough. While the Lord said, neither shalt thou make marriages with them, thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. We're not supposed to give our daughters to the oppressor's son.
Right.
We ain't supposed to do that. And what you got to understand, a lot of sisters do it not because, you know what I mean, you physically attracted to the oppressor. You doing it so what the oppressor can do for you.
Right.
Like that sister Kenija Brown was talking about, well, in my household, my mother and my father, and my mother, the breadwinner, like that sister hates Black men.
Right.
That's why she went out there and married an oppressor. Right. When you go out there and you marry these heathens, you hate your own people. You hate yourself. And more importantly, you hate our God. And you hate our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Right. And you cannot do that. It is unbrotherly and unsisterly, man, to marry these heathen nations, man, to give your daughter to their son. Let me tell you something, my daughter ain't going to marry no oppressor. Right. You better believe that. I pray you understand. Read on.
Okay. Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Now, let me speak to you brothers out there for a minute. I got to be a little harsh, a little cruel. I be hearing what y'all be saying. Talking about sisters don't like me. Sisters is this. Sisters is that. They too aggressive. You got to understand, man, Black man, especially that Black man here in America. We of the tribe of Judah, the lion. That sister is a true lioness. You got to understand this. I'm tired of hearing about, oh, sisters don't like me. You know what I mean? Don't be intimidated. That's a lot. That'd be the main thing. Like what General Muhammad was bringing out, you know what I mean, yesterday. A lot of y'all brothers is afraid to talk to a woman, to talk to her. But it's all right. You come up in the U.P.K. and get raised up right. Guess what? Sister's going to want to talk to you. Understand this. You're not supposed to take their daughters. You're not supposed to take Becky. You're not supposed to take Susan. You're not supposed to take no damn African or no East Indian. Why would you want an East Indian or African anyway, black man, Latino man, or First Nation man? You know what I mean? They got a smell that is just out of this world, man. It is stir crazy on how bad they smell, man. Understand this. That's why the Lord said, don't take their daughters unto your sons. Like a lot of them NFL and NBA players do that. Look what happens. You a star athlete in college, man, and you a brother, you know what I mean? The oppressor's daughter is going to throw herself at you. And a lot of you simple Negroes are going to get got. You're going to end up losing everything because you just got to have the oppressor's daughter. Understand this, man. The oppressor's daughter and these other heathen women are whores anyway. They're disgusting, you know what I mean? Disgusting beings, man, that have sex with anything. Like the oppressor and his daughter out there having sex with animals. Right. Understand that. That's why we have to realize this. The Lord is telling us something that is crucial right here. He's saying, thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Meaning we ain't supposed to take their daughters for our sons or ourselves. A lot of you think it's a badge of honor to have the oppressor's daughter. When you don't realize this, brother, you are her pet. Talk about, I'm doing, you know what I mean, what they did to us in slavery. I'm effing them. No. You become her pet. That's what happens. That is exactly what happens. And a lot of you sisters understand that too. You know what I mean? All the abuse that you get at the behand of the oppressor at your elevator plantation, your slavery, which I like to call your job. Understand this, man. Why would you want to do that anyway? You know what they used to do to us during the time of slavery? They used to rape Black and Latino and First Nation men and women. Yes, men too. They used to take a strong brother, you know what I mean, and pin him down and rape him in front of everybody. They used to call it bucket. Sisters, y'all got it just as bad. Where the oppressor would come and rape you and your daughters, man. Why the hell would you want to marry these heathen nations by what they done to us, man? A lot of you were caught up in that Islam here in Philadelphia. Are you aware that the Arabs would kill us, man, and take our women and our children and put them in sex harms, man? But them nasty, you know what I mean? Them nasty freaking Arabs, man, would rape our women and our young children, man, and put them in their harms, man. But you want to go out there and be a Muslim? You want to be in Islam? You want to be in Christianity? You know how many of our children get molested in the Christian and Catholic Church every day? That's why the Lord has to tell us, man, neither shalt thou make marriages with them. It says, thy daughter thou shalt not take unto his son, nor thy daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. This is what the Lord is explaining to the children of Israel, man, that Black, Latino, and that First Nation man and woman. Now let's read on. There's something else that happens too when you marry these heathens. Something crazy that happens when you do it, man. And a lot of y'all don't understand it, but the Lord about to explain it. Read on.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They shall what?
They will turn away thy son from following me.
They shall turn away thy son from following me. How do they turn you away from following God? Now, start with you, brother. Now you married the oppressor's daughter. Now you in church with them fat white angels on the wall with Caesar Bourget's picture everywhere. Not realizing the Bible says that Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, was a black man like me. Now you sitting up there with the East Indian woman. Now you growing, you know what I mean, nappy dreadlocks, which is not Israelite culture. It's not Israelite culture to wear dreadlocks. Now you worshiping their god, Shiva, you know what I mean, which was the first transsexual, you know what I mean, hermaphrodite, you know what I mean, god or idol that they have. Now you caught up in Islam. Now you silly brothers and sisters out there taking your shahada for that silly brother or that silly sister. Now I realize that when you marry and you know what I mean, these other nations, they are taking you away from serving your God. Since when you marry that oppressor, you are going away from the Most High. Now you're serving the oppressor's God or whatever heathen God that you serve. And you know what I mean, when you marry that nation. Same thing with you, brother. That's why the Lord said, for they will turn away thy son from following me. Meaning you ain't serving the Lord no more. Read on.
Verse.
Yeah, keep reading.
That they may serve other gods.
That they may serve other gods. I just broke that down. Now you're serving Allah, which is the figment of the imagination of the Arabs. Now you're worshiping Caesar Bourget. You know what I mean? who is not Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, was a black man, according to the scriptures. Now you worshiping Buddha. Now you're worshiping, you know what I mean, Akhenaten or whatever African god or whatever. Now you in voodoo. Now you in Santeria. Now you in, you know what I mean, different, you know what I mean, forms of spirituality. A lot of y'all today like that astrology. A lot of you base your entire life off of a horoscope that somebody else told you. And some of them are ridiculous. Like I don't think y'all understand how ridiculous these horoscopes is. Like I was talking to a sister, you know what I mean, one time, and she was telling me, like, oh my goodness, my horoscope said that if I wear socks, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna have an amazing day. And she proceeded to have like one of the worst days of her life. And I was like, damn, just don't worry about it. I said, my horoscope, jokingly, of course, said my horoscope said I was going to breathe today. And she was like, for real? See how simple and stupid our people are? You getting caught up in what? Being a Virgo, a Taurus, a Capricorn, Leo, Aries, Pisces. That stuff is garbage and it's idol worship. And it does not define who the hell you are. You got to come out of astrology, man, and that garbage. Read on.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you.
Now the anger of the Lord is kindled against us, man. Why? Because we're marrying these other nations and serving their gods. Look at you, silly brothers and sisters up there thinking you can be a Buddhist. You sitting up there looking like Kung Lao, you know what I mean, a Jet Li up in a temple somewhere meditating, talking about, yeah, the Buddha, he survived on 1 grain of rice a day. You mean to tell me some fat Moabites, some fat Chinese man lasted, went an entire day of 1 grain of rice I buy when they can't stop eating Tom and Jerry and bats? I'm supposed to believe that? Come on, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman, don't be simple. Don't be stupid. Now the anger of the Lord is kindled against you. Read on.
And destroy thee suddenly.
And will destroy you suddenly. You know why we're in this captivity right now? Because we disobeyed our God. Because we wanted to marry these other nations and be like them. Because we wanted to serve their gods. Now we are cursed from our God. Like it says in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 15th verse on down. Now we suffer from these curses because we didn't want to listen to the Most High. We wanted to do our own thing. And we should have did what the Lord said to do. Read on.
Verse 5. But thus shall ye deal with them.
This is how we're supposed to deal with them. It says, but thus shall ye deal with them. Read on.
Ye shall destroy their altars.
We were supposed to destroy their altars. When we came out of Egypt, right, we were supposed to break down and destroy their altars of their gods. You know what I mean? Of Baal, Baalim, you know what I mean? And all them different, like Dagon and Allah and these different type of, even the gods of today, like Allah and Caesar Borgia, you're supposed to take that Quran, right? And if you don't want to throw it in the trash, I understand. There's something else you could do with it, like what I do. When I run out of toilet paper, I get that Quran and work better than scotch. Then after you do that, then you can throw it away. That's the only use that the Quran has, is toilet paper. Throw it in the garbage. Flush it down the toilet. The Lord said, you shall break down their altars, man. Hit that picture of white Jesus, Caesar Borgia, and throw it in the goddamn garbage. Throw it in the trash can and set it on fire outside. I ain't telling nobody to set it on fire. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to get y'all jammed up. But throw it in the garbage. Hell, if y'all want to set it on fire, go ahead. Just don't tell them I told you. It's a lot here. You know what I mean? Don't go out there and light a fire, start a fire. You know what I mean? Unless you're in the woods somewhere. We get off of that. But understand this, man. The point is, take that picture of white Jesus, throw him in the goddamn trash can, man. Take that Quran, you know what I mean, and use it as toilet paper and throw it in the garbage. Right. Take Buddha, take Shiva and all them different gods, man. Stop going on them websites and looking at your damn horoscope, man. It's not going to help you in the long run. You know what will help you? This Bible. The God of Israel, the God of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. The nigger God. Read on.
So God, break down their images.
Break down their images. That's what we got to do. Break down their images. Meaning tear down their images, man. Tear down their altars. That's why it's essential, man, for all blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women to come out of that Christian church and that Muslim mosque, because they've been teaching garbage to our people for far too long. They telling us that it's all right to intermarry, and God said it was an abomination, that it was wrong. We're supposed to tear down their altars, man, and break down their images. Read on.
and cut down their groves,
Mm-hmm.
and burn their graven images with fire.
Burn their graven images with fire, man. Tear down these different gods and these different altars, man. Go, man, come out there, Christian church, and come out there, Muslim mosque, man. It has not benefited our people, not one bit being in there. Y'all can't tell me one benefit, you know what I mean, that your Christian pastor or imam have done. And they've been teaching us lies for far too long. We just broke down that the Lord said we're not supposed to marry these heathens. Now go ask your pastor that. Ask him to break down Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3 through 5. He ain't going to be able to do it. He's going to tell you, but God knows your heart, baby. God is love. We're going to go on to love in a second and what love actually is. But understand this, man. Why do you think the Lord said all this, man? Why do you think the Lord told us from Deuteronomy 7 and 3 to 5 that we're supposed to, tear down their altars? Throw their gods away and not marry these heathens. Why do you think the Lord said that? Read the next verse.
Verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
For thou art an holy people. Holy meaning set apart. Holy meaning separate. Holy is not your grandmother or auntie or mama with that feathered hat on in church. Holy is not your pastor or your imam with a white gown on. Holy means to be set apart or separate. God is telling the children of Israel, that First Nation man and woman, that Latino man and woman, that black man and woman, that we are a separate people, meaning separation is good. We're not supposed to be mingling with these other nations. We're not supposed to be doing what they're doing. We're not supposed to marry them because for thou art a holy people, a separate people. Read on.
Right. Unto the Lord thy God.
The Lord said that we were separate unto him. Understand how heavy that is, black man, Latino man, and woman. God is saying that we are separate unto him. Meaning God does not love everybody. That's another myth that they got to stop telling. They telling us that God loves everybody, but I got $1,000, you know what I mean, for anybody that can show me where he does. God does not love everybody. And it's the Christian church fault, man. It is the Christian church's fault. Because you've been learning garbage for far too long. When y'all don't even read the Bible. First of all, I don't want to hear that garbage about how, that was in the Old Testament, Yediah. Paul said in Romans 15 and verse 4, for all things written aforetime were written for our learning. What is the things written aforetime? The so-called Old Testament, man. This is written for our learning, man.
Right.
That's why, and these laws are still in effect, man. These laws, statutes, and commandments ain't go nowhere. That's why Christ said, think not that I've come to destroy the law or the prophets. Who are the prophets? The prophets are the priests, you know what I mean, and generals and captains and officers in the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, man. That's why the Lord said, for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. Meaning, we're separate unto the Lord thy God. The oppressor's not separate. The African's not separate. The Asians aren't separate. But blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women are. Read on.
Have chosen, the Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people.
To be a what?
A special people.
The Lord chose us to be a special people. What does that mean? Well, the Lord said he chose us to be a special people. Who is more special than blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women? I'll give you another analogy, right? You have a pair of shoes that are special to you. You have probably a jacket that's special to you. You probably got a child that is special to you. We're that special child to God. God said that for thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people. Understand this. And once we realize that fellow black man and woman is special, that the fellow Latino man and woman and First Nation man and woman is special, you know what we eliminate? We eliminate crime in our communities. We eliminate, you know what I mean, marrying outside of our race. Because you will realize how special that fellow Latino man and woman is. That First Nation man and woman is black man and woman. You don't realize how special we are, man. If you looked at your fellow brother and sister like they were special, you wouldn't have these problems, man. And another thing I wanted to address for you silly Negroes out there and Uncle Tom Hispanics, you cannot claim to be pro-black and marry outside of your race.
Right.
You can't be. You can't be a Latino man walking down the street with the oppressor's daughter. You can't be a First Nation man walking around with an East Indian. You can't do that. Black man, you can't walk around with an African. No, that's not pro-black. And black is a condition, first of all. Black is a condition that befalls blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. That's the condition, man, that we suffer, that they call us. You know what I mean? That's a byword for us. The Lord is saying, man, that we are special. Ain't nothing special about the oppressor. Ain't nothing special about these heathen nations, man. Read on.
Okay. Chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people.
Above some people.
Above all.
Above the oppressor.
All people.
Above the Africans.
All people.
We are above the Africans, the Asians, the Arabs, the oppressor, the Samoans. We are above all people. So why the hell do we want equality with everybody? Why? Where does the equality fit in there? When God said that we are above all people. I'm reading it out of the Bible. I didn't learn that in the Christian church. I didn't learn that in the Muslim mosque I buy. God said that we are above all people. That Latino man, First Nation man, and black man and woman, we are above all people. Well, goddamn, all this time we've been trying to be equal with the oppressor, when in reality, according to our God, we're above them. That's why it's silly and asinine, you know what I mean, for you to be in Islam, Latino man, First Nation, black man and woman. Because you're above the Arab. Why the hell would you want to be a second-class citizen to the Arab, right? When God said we were above them. Why would we want to be second-class to the oppressor when we're above the oppressor, man? To try to be equal with Nanfutu and Ngala and the Black Panther. We are above them stinking Africans, man. Real.
Verse 7.
No, above all people.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Meaning this, and this is the Lord speaking. The Lord said we was above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Meaning all races that are not black, Latino, or First Nation. If you ain't an Israelite of antiquity, if you ain't a Latino or First Nation, a black man or woman, we above you. I pray you understand. That's what our God said. And that's what makes interracial marriage so disgusting. Right. Because God said that we are above these nations, man. I read it out the Bible. Now, if I could, let me show you something else. If I could, let me get 2nd Ezra, right? Chapter 6 and verse 54. Okay. One of my favorite scriptures, man. Let me explain something to you. The problem is, I know what you're thinking in your poor little Christian mind. You're saying, but we all come out of Adam, right? We all come out of Adam. Then give me the sons of God who saw the daughters of men and said they were fair. Let me get that too. First, let me get 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54.
This is book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures.
The Bible says, you know what I mean, in the Apocrypha. If you don't have an Apocrypha, make sure you go get one. Because when the Bible was translated, right, you know what I mean, from the Hebrew, you know what I mean, how King James had them scholars, you know what I mean, how King James, who was a black man, by the way, King James, King of Scots, you know what I mean, was a black man. Now, he gave authorization, right, to go out there, you know what I mean, and translate the Bible. Now, you got to get a 1611 King James Bible. You get a 1611 King James Bible, this Apocrypha is in it. Meaning the Apocrypha is canon. For those that say, oh, the Apocrypha is not canon. Yes, the hell it is. They try to make it seem like, you know what I mean, this wasn't commissioned by God, when it was.
Right.
All scripture, you know what I mean? You know, all the scripture that come out of this Apocrypha and in this Bible, you know what I mean, came of the Most High. Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And the Lord said in 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54, and after this, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Meaning Adam was given dominion over the entire earth. Adam was the first man brought into the truth. Adam was not the first man on the earth. That's a lie. The Lord and the Bible tells you that so-called humanity, all people were created, you know what I mean, on the sixth day in waves, where the Lord created mankind and told mankind to go and multiply. The Lord rose Adam up from the dust, meaning God took Adam, who was in a low state, living like these other nations, and gave him the truth. Read on.
Of God, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures. Of him come we all.
Of him come we all. Ain't that what you're saying in your poor Christian mind and Muslim mind? I know the Bible says you're dying in Deuteronomy 7:3. You broke it down, but we all come out of Adam. Of him come we all. We do all come from Adam. But read on, I.S.U.P.K.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen. Who's the people also whom thou hast chosen? Like we read in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 6th verse. Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. We were the ones that were chosen out of Adam. Read on.
Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord. Read on.
Because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Thou hast made is the world for our sakes. What does that mean where it says thou hast made the world for our sakes? Meaning world means age or society. This was made for us. Why are we not in rulership right now? Why are we not in charge? Because we disobeyed our God. But initially, this world was supposed to be made for the black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. That's why in 2 Ezra 6 and verse 9, it says this.
Okay.
Read on. Matter of fact, I'll paraphrase. I'll read it. For Esau is the end of the world. If you read up in this same book, right, in this same chapter, it says, for Esau is the end of the world. Esau meaning the forefather of the oppressor, the Caucasian man and woman, the devil that the Bible speaks of. They're the end of the world. And Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. Meaning Jacob, the forefather of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. Our age of society is coming right after Esau's. As Esau's world falls, our world is going to rise.
Right.
And black and Latino and First Nation men are going to rule under Christ. The world was made for our sakes. Read on.
Okay. Verse 56. As for the other people.
As for the other people. I ain't forget about Bill, Bob, Fred, Becky, Susan, Nafutu Nungala. As for the other people, read on.
Which also come of Adam.
Which also come of Adam, because don't they all come out of Adam? Chinese man came out of Adam. The East Indian came out of Adam. The white man came out of Adam. The Arab came out of Adam. The African came out of Adam. Read on.
Thou hast said.
Thou hast said. Let's understand this. Read it slow too, Bubba Shaw. This is what the Lord said. Thou hast said. This is what the Lord had to say about these other nations that came out of Adam that are not black, Latino, or First Nation. What did the Lord could possibly say about these other nations, Bob?
That they are nothing.
That they are what?
Nothing.
God said that the oppressor is what?
Nothing.
The Lord said that these other nations are nothing. That's what our God said. It's in the Bible. Reading out the Apocrypha. The Lord said that these other nations are nothing. So why the hell would you want to marry a people that's nothing, man? Why would you want to marry the oppressor or his daughter when God said they are nothing? Why would you want to marry an African or an East Indian when God said that they are what?
Nothing. But be like unto spittle.
That's heavy. The Lord said that they are like unto spittle. Meaning these other nations are like spit to God. Damn, that's heavy. The Lord said, yeah, the oppressor, he's like spit to me. East Indians, they are like spit. That African, that Arab, they are like spit. This is what our God said, that in you, brothers, like to defend. A lot of you brothers and sisters in the world love to defend the oppressor and love them, but God said they are nothing and like unto spittle. The Lord said that they are like unto spit. I didn't say that. I.S.U.P.K say it. God said it. Now what? You got to take that up with the Most High. Read on.
And has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
And has likened the abundance of them like a drop that falleth from a vessel. What does that mean? What does that mean? Meaning this, these other nations, right? Give me Isaiah 40 and 15 before you give me the other scripture I asked for. The Lord said that these other nations are like one glob of spit that he spit out. Or if you got a bucket of water, if you got a whole bucket of water and you lose a couple drops, you don't care about that drop because you still got that full bucket. That's why the Lord did not give a damn about these other nations, because he still has blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women whom he has chosen. Now, if I could, I'd buy me Isaiah 40 and verse 15.
This is the book of Isaiah 40 verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket.
Lord said in Isaiah 40 and verse 15, which is a precept must be upon precept, line upon line, that the nations, behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket. Read on. Meaning they're like a drop that comes out of a bucket. If you got a bucket full of water and a couple drops come out, you ain't gonna give a damn about that because you still got a full bucket. Read on.
And are counted as the small dust of the balance.
They are counted as the small dust of the balance, meaning these other nations don't mean anything to the God of Israel, to the God of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. That's why it is insanity to me, man, that you still would want to marry these heathens. Now, if I could, give me where the Lord said, where the sons of God saw the daughters of men and they were fair.
Okay. We read verse 17 one certain Isaiah. It clarifies the point too.
Go ahead, read that for me.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 17. All nations before him are as nothing.
The Lord said what?
All nations before him are as nothing.
All nations before him, which are before him, are as nothing. God said that all nations before him are as nothing. They are nothing according to our God. The Lord said that these oppressors was nothing before him, that these heathens were nothing before him, that you love to fight for. You're fighting against the God of Israel, man. You're fighting against our God, the nigger God, man, whose name is Yahweh. Not Jehovah, not Yahuwah, Yahweh. And he said, all nations before him are as nothing. He said that. Read on.
And they are counted to him less than nothing.
And they are counted to him less than nothing. Not only are they nothing, but they are counted to him less than nothing. Read on.
And vanity.
And vanity. Read on.
That was it. I'll go to you.
No sweat the water I buy for the precept.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6, and verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Now, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. What does that mean, and what is it talking about? Because this is what, as a matter of fact, I want you to read verse 1, Bubba Pashal, because this is one of them scriptures, right? This is one of them scriptures that gets misconstrued, especially if you're not in the truth, not in the UPK. Because a lot of our people think, oh, this is talking about I heard the Nephilim. Because and we're going to break it down how it says in verse 4 there were giants in the earth. It's talking about how the fallen angels had sex with the women on the earth and they formed Nephilim. That y'all gotta stop getting high. That's really it. Y'all gotta stop smoking that. One day y'all gonna stop smoking that weed. Understand this. Angels, right? Actual angels of God. First of all, if you saw an angel, you'd probably die. You probably shit yourself before you died. Salaki for the language. An angel was a horrifying thing to see. Angels did not come down here and have sex with women and form giants. That did not happen. That did not happen. Now let me break it down to you. Read Genesis chapter 6 and verse 1, Bubba Show. Now I'll break it down for you.
This is the book of Genesis 6 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth.
Now men are beginning to multiply on the face of the earth. Read on.
And daughters were born unto them.
And daughters were born unto them. give you some context, right? The Lord made mankind on the sixth day. And he told, and the Lord told man to multiply, be fruitful. Meaning, go out there, marry, marry, brother, man, marry that woman. Go out there and have sex. Multiply, replenish the earth. Now, it said, and it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. Read on.
Verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Now, what does it mean that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair? When it says the sons of God, it's not talking about the actual angels. The sons of God are the children of Adam.
Right.
That's who that's talking about. The children that came out of Adam. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Meaning this. Fair meaning this, that they was all right. That they was good looking. They was pleased to look at. Now the sons of God, meaning the sons of Adam, man, they looking at that, man, look at that woman. Man, look at her. She fine, she bad. I'm about to go get with her. The Lord said that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair. Read on.
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Of all of that which they have chose. Now, this is talking about what? It's on topic. Interracial marriage. The sons of God were not supposed to marry them heathen women, man. The Lord saw that and said, nah, and I'm gonna explain it. Read verse 3.
Okay. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not always strive with man.
My spirit shall not always strive with man. The Lord saw that and said, man, look at Adam's sons, man. My spirit ain't always gonna strive with man. They out here messing up. Read on. They're not doing what I told them to do. Read on.
For that he also is flesh. Mm-hmm. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Mm-hmm. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth.
Now it says there were giants in the earth. What does it mean where it says that there were giants in the earth? When it says that there were giants in the earth, it's not talking about somebody that was 8, 10, or 11, or 12 feet tall. When it says that there were giants in the earth, it's talking about men of high renown, men of great reputation. Like, I'll give you a prime example, right? In the music industry, Jay-Z is a giant in the music industry. What do I mean when I say Jay-Z is a giant in the music industry? Meaning he's renowned. He's well respected. Same thing when it comes to, I'll even use an example of a devil. Like Elon Musk, and Amazon and Jeff Bezos. They're a giant in the field of what they do. I'm not talking about their actual height. When it says that there were giants in the earth. And in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, they bear children to them. It just means, man, that these renowned men of high stature, that are well renowned and have great respect, among others, it's talking about them going into the daughters of men. And they bear them children to them, the same that became mighty men, which are of old men of renown. Understand this? That's what that is talking about. And in verse 5, it says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually, man. Meaning this, the Lord saw all of the evil that was going on with, these other nations and and the other sons of Adam, and said, man, they are doing evil. They are doing unimaginable wickedness, man, in their minds. Hey, shalom, brother, Lord of Christ. You got any questions? All right, Con, no sweat. The Lord said, man, that his spirit will not always strive with man. And he saw that, man's thoughts were evil. That's what it means when we're talking about his heart. Your heart right here, all it does is pump blood. Your real heart is talking about your mind and to do evil continually. And what happened after this? To give you some context, the Lord, came to Noah. The Lord came to Noah. And Noah and his family, 8 people, they were the ones that survived the flood. And here's the thing, nobody believed Noah too. Just like how nobody believes the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge. If I could, let's drop this. Give me where they said they were going to be marrying in that day, like in the time of Noah. You know what I'm talking about? The believers in Matthew. Can we get that? When Christ returned, and and when World War III happens, and when Christ returns on this earth, it's going to be the same way. They're going to be doing the same thing that they was doing back then. and which makes it heavy, which makes it so heavy, right? Why the scriptures say in Ecclesiastes, there's no new thing under the sun. The problem is, as blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women, now is the time to wake up. Now is the time to come out, you know what I mean, of that sleep. Because you're being rocked to sleep by the oppressor and by America. When World War III is on the horizon, all right, you know, we don't have that much time. Our king is getting ready to return. The time to get yourself together was really yesterday. So get yourself together right now. Now is the day when you got to realize, man, I got to leave these whores alone. I got to stop being a whoremonger. I got to stop messing with them heathen women. Leave them white girls alone, brother. Just to leave, you know what I mean, the oppressor alone. Read what you got, bud. Announce where you at, too.
This is the book of Back, chapter 24, verse 38.
Mm-hmm.
For as in the days that were before the flood.
As in the days that was before the flood. Meaning the days that was before the flood, meaning before that water came. Whew. Read on.
They were eating and drinking.
They were eating and drinking. They was eating that pork, that shrimp, crab, and lobster. They was being drunkards. They was drinking. Read on.
Married and given in marriage.
Marrying and given in marriage, meaning marrying, having sex with everybody, being a sexual deviant, being a homosexual. Read on.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
Until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And that's it. That was a rough time, too. Right. You imagine? Can you imagine the scrutiny that Noah faced, man? They called Noah crazy. They said, oh, look at Knock. Noah is Knock in Hebrew. They was out there, look at Knock. That nigga out there building the ark. Nigga, it ain't rain and it ain't gonna rain. It rain sometimes. The water ain't gonna get that high. Look at this crazy nigga, man. Look at Knock out here. Look at Noah. But boy, when that water started to come down, ooh-wee. It was banging on that ark I bought. It was like, Noah, I'm sorry. I apologize, man. My Lord, please. Read on.
So God, verse 39, and knew not until the flood came.
And knew not until the flood came. Meaning once it got real. Once that water started to come, woo-wee. Read on. It'd be too late then. Read on.
And took them all away.
Mm-hmm. And took them all away. Meaning that flood came and took all them away. The Lord flooded the earth because of interracial marriage, man. Because of that evil that was going on. Read on.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. They're going to be doing the same thing when Christ returns. They're going to be out there marrying everybody, getting in interracial marriage, out there being homosexuals and doing every other evil thing under the sun. But once Christ returns, man, it's going to be just like that time of Noah. I pray you understand. Now, if I could, right? Young man Tommy, give me Nehemiah, right? Nehemiah chapter 13 and verse 23. By whole Numbers, the 25th chapter. Go a little bit more into it. Again, if y'all have any questions in the room, make sure, you know what I mean, I'll be answering y'all questions tonight. Y'all got any questions online, type them in. Yeah, let me get Nehemiah 13 and start at verse 23. Right, by whole Numbers, chapter 25 and verse 1.
Okay. Nehemiah 13, verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod.
Now, it says, in those days, I saw Jews. Meaning Nehemiah said, in those days, I saw black men, Latino men, and First Nation men, which married wives of Ashdod. Read on.
And Ammon and of Moab.
Of Ammon and of Moab. I believe Ashdod, don't quote me on this, or a son of Esau. I mean, or a different sect of the oppressor, meaning of Ammon and Moab, meaning this. we was marrying, you know what I mean, Africans, marrying Asians, and marrying the oppressor. Read on.
Verse 24. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod.
Now the children, they speak in half the speak of Ashdod. What does that mean? When you marry those heathens, right? Now your children are speaking in the language of the heathen. Why is that? Why is that? I'll explain. Because the mother is the first teacher of the child. Now the child, your baby, is learning the language of that heathen. They're not learning the Lashawan Quadash, the Abagada Hawazaha, Tayaka, Lamanasa, I, Patazakawashata. Now you don't know our language, the Hebrew, the Lashawan Quadash. Now you're speaking in what? Yiddish, speaking African, speaking Chinese. That's why the Lord said this. It says, in those days I saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, marrying, you know what I mean, the oppressor's daughter, marrying Ammon, you know what I mean, marrying the Japanese, and marrying Moab, who are the Chinese. And it says that their children spake in half speech of Ashdod. Read on.
And could not speak in the Jews' language.
Which could not speak the Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash, our holy tongue. Couldn't speak the Hebrew. That's why you can't marry these heathens, man. Read on.
But according to the language of each people.
But they do know the language, you know what I mean, of them heathens, of them heathen mothers that bear them. Read on.
Verse 25. And I contended with them.
Nehemiah said, and I contended with them. What does it mean when Nehemiah said, and I contended with them? Meaning this. Oh, you want to say something, Tom?
He argued with them.
He damn sure did. He did more than argue. He got right up in their world, Tommy. He was like, he contended with them, got in their faces. Like, what the hell is you doing? Because you're not supposed to marry these heathens, man. Like, I need you to understand I need y'all to understand how disgusted Nehemiah was with our people for doing this. That's why he said, and I contended with them. Read on.
And cursed them, and smote certain of them.
He said, and cursed them, meaning Nehemiah was talking crazy to them. Like, yo, what the is you doing? And smote certain of them. What does smote mean? Certain of them. Meaning Nehemiah laid hands on them for doing this. That's how egregious this is, to go and marry a heathen. Now, Tommy, you a little older, right? I know you have children. Did your son come home with Becky today? His face said it all. He was like, yeah, all right, okay. Listen, my mother always said, you know what I mean, if she can't use, my mother ain't in the truth, by the way, but she did say this, my father too. If she can't use your comb, don't bring her home. Understand this, man. First of all, these heathens can't synthesize with us. They haven't been through what we went through, man. And that's what makes it so evil. Like, you really destroy the psyche of your brother and your sister when you do that. When you marry that oppressor's daughter, you're telling a young sister that she's not good enough. Right. Like, what does that do, you know what I mean, for the children that are coming up? Right. Here you are walking with Becky. And let's say you got, you know what I mean, some young sisters walking past. You know what I mean? They're going to see that and be like, damn, brothers don't care about me. I got to go get an oppressor. You see the evil trend that you're setting? It is a beautiful and glorious thing to see that black man with that black woman, that Latino man with that Latina woman, that First Nation man with that First Nation woman, that black man with that Latina woman, that Latino man with that black woman, that First Nation man with that Latina woman, or that First Nation woman with that black man, and that First Nation man with that black or Latina woman. That is a glorious thing because we're supposed to marry one another. And some of you, and I gotta listen, understand this, man. I saw something disgusting the other day, talking about some of you silly Negroes talking about, I'll marry one of the old Ukrainian women to keep them in here so they can get a visa. And she's a goddamn heathen. Right. She ain't our people. What you need to do, black man, is marry that Mexican woman. Right. Just to marry that Mexican man. Right. Marry that Haitian man and woman. Married that, man, a woman from Barbados, from Guyana, from, St. Lucia, from Trinidad and Tobago, from Puerto Rico and Cuba. The fact is that even ran through your simple mind that you can't wait to go get you, something from the Ukraine or Russia. Nah, man. You need to have that same love for our people, man. That same compassion for that fellow Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Because the oppressor has it for his people. They stopped deportation of Ukrainians. Hell, listen, they did a story yesterday on Black Watch News, Commander General Yohanna, every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. They said, brother, that they was going to let the Ukrainians through the Texas and Mexico border. But they wouldn't let us go through the Texas border, the Rio Grande, to go feed our Haitian brothers and sisters, to go see our Mexican brothers and sisters, man. The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. El hombre blanco es el diablo. That's why the Lord said, man, we're not supposed to make marriages with them. That's why Nehemiah contended with his brothers, man, for doing this evil atrocity, man. You need to have that love for that Haitian man and woman that's suffering, that Puerto Rican man and woman that is suffering. Cuba is under a state of emergency. Look up SOS Cuba on Twitter or TikTok, man. Our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Manasseh are suffering right now. Our brothers and sisters of Puerto Rico, of the tribe of Ephraim, are still suffering. A lot of them still don't have power because of the earthquakes and the hurricanes, man. A lot of our brothers and sisters in Haiti, man, are still trying to get out because of all the turmoil and hell that's going on there. And the French, who are such evil bastards, man, named Haiti hell. That's what Haiti means, in French? Hell. Our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Levi are suffering. Haitian man and woman is suffering. You can forget about that Black man and woman, that Latino man and woman that's suffering, all across the earth. Look at the Dominican Republic. That man and woman of the tribe of Simeon, suffering over there in the Dominican Republic, man. Suffering in Panama, suffering in Uruguay and El Salvador, suffering in Honduras, suffering in the rainforest in Brazil, burning the rainforest down to this very day. Don't you think our people deserve empathy? Don't you think that our people deserve, brotherhood and sisterhood? And if y'all don't want to give it to them, that's fine. That's what the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohanna is for. Because we are for Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women only. Y'all don't want to help your own brothers and sisters? No sweat. We got you. Right. If don't nobody got you, the UPK under Commander General Yohanna has you. A lot of you think that your brother and sister in the world got you. They don't. You think, that oppressor got you. They don't. But Commander General Yohanna and the I.S.U.P.K, we got you. Read on.
And plucked off their hair and made them swear by God.
Understand this. Let's not breeze past that. Nehemiah was grabbing brothers by their beard. Like, nigga, what? You marrying Becky? You marrying the Chinese? You marrying the Africans and the Japanese? Nehemiah wasn't playing, man. He was grabbing brothers by their beards. And read on.
And made them swear by God, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons.
Who is Nehemiah quoting when he says, neither shalt thou give your daughters unto their sons? We just read Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter and the 3rd verse. Why is Nehemiah quoting Deuteronomy? Because this is a law, and the law is not done away with. This is another precept, man. For precept must be upon precept, line upon line. Nehemiah said this. He said, neither. He said, you shall not give your daughters unto their sons. Read on.
Nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves.
You're not supposed to take these heathens for your daughters or your sons or for yourselves. Nehemiah is quoting Moses, man, and the law. Why is he doing that? Because the law is not done away with. That's why Christ said in Matthew, the 5th chapter and the 17th verse, think not that I've come to destroy the law or the prophets. I've not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right. Christ came to show us how it's done. Right. You're not supposed to marry these heathens, man. Keep reading.
Verse 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? understand. I need y'all to understand how heavy this is, what Nehemiah is bringing out right now. Solomon was the wisest king, you know what I mean? And heathens love to talk about, Mansa Musa or this different pharaoh. They ain't have nothing on Solomon. Even Solomon sinned by these things because Solomon loved the oppressor's daughter too. Solomon loved the Africans. Solomon loved the Asians. Yeah, wives, 700, like over 700 wives of different heathens. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Didn't he do this? And it was go heavy, right? Nehemiah is contending with our people, right? Saying, yo, did not Solomon do this? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? What is wrong with us? Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? We are reading and know how he messed up. He ain't the only one that messed up like this. Who else messed up by marrying heathens, man? Samson. And that's something I got to start going into a little bit more, because every time I bring this up, I kind of neglect to bring up Samson. I need y'all to understand something when it came to Samson. If y'all could just bear with me 1 second. To just sum it up for you, I'll go over it in a previous class, man. As a matter of fact, remind me, next time I do a class, I'm going to break down a little in depth about Samson. Samson, who will be a Cuban brother today, of the tribe of Manasseh. Samson was one of the strongest brothers to ever walk this earth, man. And the Lord was with Samson. But you know what Samson's problem was? He loved the Philistines. He loved the African woman. Even his father. Did his father not say, Ibad, is there not a daughter in your tribe or of Israel? His father had to tell him, like, nigga, you couldn't marry a sister that's of the tribe of Manasseh. You couldn't marry a sister from the tribe of Judah, a sister from the tribe of Benjamin or Ephraim. Goddamn, we got 12 different flavors. But Samson, a powerful brother, man. Samson killed 1,000 Philistines who had sword and axe and armor with just the jawbone of a donkey. I need y'all to understand how hard that is. You got 1,000 Africans coming at you. You got 1,000 Shaka Zulus and Black Panthers coming at you, right? And all Samson has is the jawbone of an ass and said, no sweat, and killed them all. And how did our brother fall? Because he wanted to love an African. What's the one African? I forget her name. Tamar. He married her, and then the Philistines threw her off the goddamn side of the wall. And then he fell, He fell in love with Delilah, who tricked him, man. And then the brother had the nerve to be surprised that African chose her own people over him. When we need to choose the God of Israel, man. We need to choose our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And we need to choose one another, Black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. And not just Samson, Solomon. Solomon sinned by doing the same thing, marrying these heathen women. Like, goddamn. Like, I don't even understand it for real. I don't. Because there is no women on this earth that is finer than our women, man. That Black woman, that Latina woman, that First Nation woman, you can forget about it, man. You know what I mean? Big shout out to Priest and Officer of 1,000 Bars Al Rakab. My brother Mark said this. He said that on Twitter, that African women will never look better than Black women. And the sad thing is, it was a lot of brothers that gave him hell for that. Even that African Wale was like, oh, I hate it here. But he loved Black and Latino women. You'll never see him with no African woman. You always see him horned with our women, man. That's why we're not supposed to marry these heathens. But one thing I will say, a lot of the sisters agree. A lot of sisters agree, saying, yeah, we are better than them African women. Latina and First Nation women and Black women are better than these heathen women, man. Read on.
Yet among many nations was there no king like him.
There was no king like Solomon. And they love to talk trash and bring up Mansa Musa or this Pharaoh or that African or whatever. Understand this. There was none like Solomon. And I'll give you a little backdrop, which is so heavy. And I can prove it in the scriptures. Christ was Solomon in the regeneration. As some of you may not know, when you die, you don't go to some little underground purgatory, hell, or Hades. When you die, your spirit is set up to the Most High, and you're judged and you're sent back on this earth. Christ was here before as Adam, Melchizedek, Isaac, and Solomon. Heaven. There was no king like Solomon. And they love to bring up these little heathen kings. They ain't got nothing on Solomon. I need y'all to understand that. Read on.
Who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel.
God loves Solomon, man. God, the Most High loves Solomon, man. I need y'all to understand that. Read on.
Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women.
Did what? Even him did what?
Outlandish women.
Outlandish women. You mean to tell me I gotta put it in terms so that you young brothers can understand, and you young troopers can understand, or young officers. I gotta put it in terms you understand. You're fighting for a crown that our King Yahawashi Mashiach, what the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ. You're fighting for that crown. You mean to tell me you're going to give that crown away for the white woman, for an African woman, for an Asian woman? God damn. Even him did outlandish women. Read on.
Cause to sin.
Cause to sin. It said even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Meaning he sinned because he wanted to be with them heathen women, man. That's why we got to stay away from them. That's why you got to leave them alone. Like that's just the Khadijah Brown Jackson doing a disservice to her God, man, the God of Israel. Doing a disservice to our King Yahawashi Mashiach and us as our brothers and sisters, man, by marrying that oppressor. And all of you sisters that married the oppressor, and all of you brothers that love to marry the oppressor and these heathen women, man. Read on.
Verse 27. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil?
God is calling interracial marriage a great evil. God is saying this. Y'all want to tell me, but God is all love, Yediah. The Lord loves everybody. The Lord said that this is a great evil. Interracial marriage is a great evil according to God. Read on.
To transgress against our God in marrying strange wives.
To transgress against our God, meaning to break the law, statutes, and commandments of our God, Yahweh, in marrying strange wives. Don't do it, brother.
Right.
Don't do it, sister. I pray you understand. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. You transgressing our God by doing that, man. And if I could, Bob, we can drop that, Tommy. Bob, give me Numbers 25 and verse 1.
Oh, God.
Give you another something else that happened in the past with these heathens, man. Read on.
This is Numbers 25, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
Oh, man, here we go. Now, again, coming out of Egypt, the Lord said, and Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Now, we starting to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Now you brothers want to go marry the Chinese woman. Because Moab, Mawa'aba in the Hebrew, that's the biblical name for the Chinese man and woman. Now you want to go marry Moab? And you know what? I got to speak to you brothers for a minute, right? And I'm glad I'm doing this class. Because you know what I mean? You're going to know exactly where I'm going. A lot of you brothers, man, and I'm not saying ain't nothing wrong with watching anime. I watch anime too. But a lot of you brothers, just because you like anime, don't mean you can go and marry the Chinese. Don't mean you can go marry the Japanese. The Chinese who is Moab and the Japanese who is Ammon. You get so caught up in that anime and lose track that you are a nigga, a black man, or a Latina man, or a Latino man, or a First Nation man. Now you want to go get their daughters. Right. Now you want to go marry the daughters of Ammon, who are the Japanese. Now you want to go marry the daughters of Moab, who are Chinese. I need y'all to understand two big points that I'm about to say. And it's heavy. And it's funny too, but it's I need y'all to understand this. They're slow. They are. They're really slow. And this is something I knew, like in school, Tommy. Like it's something that, like, and this is a personal story for me. Me personally, I think I might hate Moab and Ammon more than the oppressor. I know that sounds crazy. Like the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I hate the oppressor. Don't get me wrong. I think I might hate the Asians just as much because they're in our communities. They make thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars a week. If you walk down 2 blocks in north, south, or southwest, or northeast Philadelphia, you will find what? Their businesses. They patronize us. They support us. They stand up for George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or Philando Castillo, Ramon Lopez, or Vanessa Gilliam. Hell no. But they will take their money. Go there and be $1 short. You ain't gonna get that Tom and Jerry. You ain't gonna get that 4 wings and fry or that 4 wings and fry right. You ain't gonna get it. Shame what they're doing to them dogs. A lot of you brothers, because you love their culture, because you love, you know what I mean, the samurai, the kung fu movies, you love Bruce Lee, aka Bruce Lee is Chinese Steven Seagal. He was a goddamn actor. I mean, y'all revere him like he was the greatest fighter on earth, and he wasn't. He was a damn actor. You think, you know what I mean, that you Chinese now, that you Japanese now. And guess what? Scriptures like this tell me one thing. That it proves what the Lord said in Ecclesiastes. There is no new thing under the sun. Because you mean to tell me, as Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women, that we were committing whoredom with the Chinese and the Japanese after Egypt? What do we do now? Now do you see the importance of why we have this Bible and why it contains our records and our culture and our identity? So we don't make the same mistake over and over and over again. It said it right here. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Read on.
Okay. Verse 2. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods.
Now, they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. Now you want to be a Buddhist? Now you want to worship their gods? You want to worship the gods of the Asians? Good night. Well, the Lord said in Psalms 96 and verse 5 that all the gods of the nations are idols. That the Lord made the heavens. Now you want to marry the Asians, and guess what? Now you're serving their gods. Read on.
Okay. And the people did eat and bowed down to their gods.
Now you eating that rice, being a simple Buddhist. Now you over there is worshiping the God of the Arabs. You're worshiping the God of the oppressor. Read on.
Verse 3. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor.
Now Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. Now understand this, when you see Baal meaning, you know what I mean, other gods. You know what I mean? Baal was a popular god of the heathens back then. Well, understand this. Baal today would be the Christian church, worshiping the God of him, worshiping the God of the Arabs. That would be like, you know what I mean, serving Baal back then, which is the same as today. You worshiping Baal. You're worshiping a false god, the figment of the imagination of the heathens. Read on.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel.
Now, the Lord was angry with us. Read on.
Verse 4. And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up.
The Lord said, Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun. Read on.
And hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
The God of Israel, the God of Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women is hardcore, ain't he? Like the Lord is not playing with us, man. That's why Deuteronomy 6 and 4, man, if I could, it says, Shema Yasha Allah Yahweh Allahaya Nawa Yahweh God. Meaning our God is one God.
Right.
You know how evil it is, right? To worship the gods of these other nations? Who brought us out of that fierce slavery that we was in under the Africans in Egypt? I need y'all to understand something. We're the same people. And this is how I knew when I was a young man and a young trooper coming up in this truth, that we are really the children of God. We are the same people that saw the Lord split the Red Sea, rain fire down on our enemies, destroying them, washing them away, sending chariots that guide us through the wilderness. And then Moses leave us for 10 minutes and we want to go back to Egypt. We want to go and make a new God. That describes every Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman right now, because we're that hard-headed, and that has to stop.
Right.
But the Lord said that if these other, if I'd have chose any other nation, they'd be serving him right now. God would have chose the Asians, they'd be serving him right now. They wouldn't be eating Tom and Jerry or bats. They would be serving God. The Lord chose the oppressor, they'd be serving him. But the Lord chose us. That's why it's time for us, like Bob was bringing out, his camp speaking the other day so gloriously, that it's time for us to gird up our loins. Gird up our loins, put up our strength, put on our strength, and serve the Most High God, Yahweh, man. And do what our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, commanded us to do. Read on,
Bud. Verse 5. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal-peor.
That's how hardcore Moses was. Moses was a black man of the tribe of Levi, meaning Moses would be a Haitian brother today. Moses said unto the judges of Israel, to the leaders under him, because there was rank order, even back then, there was rank and order, which makes rank and order so important. Moses said unto the judges, I want you to slay every one, every brother, every sister that joined themselves unto Baal. Kill them. Because you're serving another God and not the God of Israel. It says it right here. But I thought God loved everybody. See how the Lord is. I thought God was all love. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay every one of his men that were joined unto Baal-peor. Read on.
Verse 6.
Now, what we getting ready to read is heavy. I still remember Captain Shapar breaking this down to me when I was a young man looking crazy in his class on a Thursday. Read verse 6, say, bud.
Verse 6. Behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman.
Now, I need you to understand this, right? Imagine, I need you to picture this. Moses is talking to the judges of Israel. Moses is talking to the people, saying, yo, that's what we got to do. And a brother comes up, right, with an Asian woman, with an African woman, or a heathen woman. He coming up with a heathen woman. Imagine this. Imagine Moses telling us, yo, stop marrying these heathen women. Stop having sex with these heathen women, man. God, we got to kill all y'all for this. Imagine a brother come up with Becky, bringing her into the camp, bringing her into the congregation, walking her through in front of Moses, in front of the judges, in front of all of us, in the sight of the Most High. Y'all be looking at him like, I know that who I think it is. Read on.
In the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel.
In sight of all the congregation, we all can see this. Read on.
Who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Our people, right, are weeping at the door of the tabernacle, meaning we are crying to our God Yahweh, praying for mercy. And then a brother comes up with a heathen woman walking past us while we in front of the tabernacle, in front of the Levite priest, in front of Moses, in front of the Most High. Read on.
Verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it.
Now, the son of Aaron, the son of Eleazar, Phinehas, when he saw this, read on.
He rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand.
He said, hold up. I know that who I think it is. He about to bring that heathen woman. Got up and got a javelin. Need y'all to understand, like a javelin, like a spear, right, bud? Javelin's a spear, long spear. He went up and grabbed a javelin. Read on. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent.
He went up after him. He followed him into the tent. He said, oh, that's what you about to do? I got something for you. You want to go ahead and bring this whore, bring this heathen woman up among us? I got something for you. I best believe. He said, I got some special brotherhood for you. Read on.
And thrust both of them through.
Damn, read that again.
And thrust both of them through.
Damn. And thrust both of them through. What does it mean, right? Where he thrust both of them through. Meaning that brother was having sex with that woman in his tent when it said he was both of them. Both of them. Read on.
Okay. The man of Israel and the woman through her belly.
Damn. And he was on top of her. And listen, and Fidesz said, oh, both of them through the belly. Swift. Read on.
So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm. Now the Lord stopped the plague. I mean, he stopped it because of what Fidesz did. Read on.
Verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
24,000 of us died, you know what I mean, from being plagued by the Most High because brothers and sisters wanted to go and whore themselves with these heathen nations, man. What Fidesz did was honorable, man, and the Lord is about to explain it. Read on.
Verse 10. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 11, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel.
He turned away the wrath from the children of Israel, man. Why? Because he was disgusted at what that brother did, man. Fidesz loved the Most High and said, oh, how dare you do this? I got something for you. Read on.
While he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
That I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Meaning this, man. The Lord said, well, he didn't kill us no more because Fidesz stayed. He was zealous for the Most High's sake, man. And Fidesz loved the Most High, which goes to show you why it is important, right, to understand that interracial marriage is such an evil thing to our God. That's why when people say, oh, but you die, and what about love? What is this? You don't understand love according to God, and I can show it to you. What is love according to God? If I could, give me 2 John 1 and verse 6. Let me show you what love is according to our God, because that's something that is misconstrued every day. Like a lot of our people think, you know what I mean, that homosexuality, you know what I mean, it's all right for a man to love another man, a woman to love another woman. That's not love. If I could, young man Tommy, can you hold James 4 and 4? James chapter 4 and verse 4. You think you know what love is. You don't. Let me explain to you what love is according to God. Read what you got, Ibad.
Oh, God. This is the book of 2 John, chapter 1, verse 6. And this is love.
And this is love. This is love according to the God of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. And this is love. Read on.
That we walk after his commandments.
That we what?
That we walk after his commandments.
This is love, that we walk after his commandments. That is love according to the God of Israel. According to the God of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women, is that we walk after his commandments. That's love. But the problem is, as our people, we want to continue to do the evil of this world. We want to do homosexuality. We want to be sexual deviants. You want to be a whore and a whoremonger. You can't do that. We got to do what our God said to do. And what did the Lord say? Let me get James chapter 4 and verse 4, young man Tommy.
James 4, verse 4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses.
The Lord said, ye adulterers and adulteress. Read on.
Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
Friendship with the world is enmity with God. What does that mean? It means that you want to have friendship camaraderie with the oppressor and his wicked society, because world means age of society. Because you want to have friendship with the oppressor in America and his world, it's enmity. Alexa, what does enmity mean?
Enmity is usually defined as a feeling or condition of hostility, hatred, ill will.
Stop, Alexa. Hatred.
Right.
Division. Meaning you hate the Most High by having friendship with the world. Because you want to be friends with the world. That's why the Lord said, you adulterers and adulteress. What's the adultery that's being performed? You going after the other gods of these other nations. You going after the oppressor's woman and man. You following after their culture and their customs. That's why I said, ye adulterers and adulteress. Know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Meaning you have division against the Most High. You have hatred towards the God of blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women if you choose to have friendship with America. Read on.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world.
Now, whosoever, I'm too outward. Whosoever that will be a friend of the world. Meaning, if you're a friend of America, if you want to be free, white, and 21, if you want to be friends with Babylon, guess what? Read on.
Is the enemy of God.
You are an enemy of God, man. You are an enemy of the Most High. Bob, give me 1 John 2 and verse 15, and then Tommy, you can hold John chapter 13 and verse 34. Let me get 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Meaning you are an enemy of God if you love America. If you praying for the Ukraine or you're praying for peace, you know what I mean? If you're praying for Russia to stop their conflict, you are an enemy of God. Because Christ said that these rumors of war have to happen. Our God said he was going to destroy America, that his eyes was upon the sinful kingdom, right, man. That's why the Lord also said in 1 John 2 and verse 15, you know, you got it.
I got it.
Read.
Just the book of 1 John 2 and verse 15. Love not the world.
Love not the world. Meaning you're not supposed to love the world. America tells you, and America is this world, man. World meaning age of society. When the Lord said love not the world, meaning love not America. Because in America, right, it's all right to marry other nations, to marry heathens. In America, it's all right to be a homosexual or to eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster. That's why the Lord said love not the world. Read on.
Neither the things that are in the world.
Homosexuality is in the world. Pork is the other white meat in the white man's world. But God said it was an abomination. Homosexuality is an alternative way of living to the oppressor, but it's an abomination unto God. While the Lord said, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Read on.
If any man love the world.
Now, if any man love the world, if you love America, if you love the Ukraine, read on.
The love of the Father is not in him.
The love of God is not in you. The love of God is not in you if you have love for these heathens, man. If you love America. You talking about pray for the Ukraine. Talking about let's stop the war. Understand this, man. The Lord said, you know what I mean, he was going to destroy America. Our King, Yahawashi prophesied, you know what I mean, that rumors of war have to happen. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. That these famine and pestilences must happen. But what must we do as blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women in the meantime? Let me get John chapter 13 and verse 34.
John 13, verse 34.
Mm-hmm.
A new commandment I give unto you.
What does Christ mean when he says a new commandment I give unto you? Christ is saying this. Christ is being sarcastic here. He's telling our people, a new commandment I give unto you. I wonder what that is. Read what you got. Keep reading.
That ye love one another.
That ye love one another. Christ commanded us that you love one another. That you love that black woman, black man. That you love that Latino man and woman. That you love that First Nation man and woman. That you love your brother. Read on. Read it again from the top, Bubba, for sure.
A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you.
As I have loved you. Christ loved us so much that an innocent black man died so we could have a second chance. So we could come off of drugs. So we can stop selling drugs. So we can stop being whores and whoremongers and homosexuals. That we can stop aborting our babies and being murderers, man. That we can stop being evil, wicked brothers and sisters, man. Christ died so we could come back to the Most High. That's how much he loved us. Read on.
That ye also love one another.
That ye also love one another. Love your brother, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. Love that sister. Read on.
Verse 35. By this shall all men know.
By this shall all men know. All men are going to understand this right here. Read.
That ye are my disciples.
That ye are my disciples. How are you going to know who the disciples of Christ are? How do you know that the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under command of General Yohanna since 1969 is the home of the truth? And the Christian church doesn't have the truth, that the Muslim mosque doesn't have the truth, and these fake Israelites, you know what I mean, masquerading as priests and prophets who are not, don't have the truth. Read on.
If you love one to another.
If you love one to another. We love blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That's why we do what the scriptures say. We cry not. We cry a lot. You know what I mean? We cry aloud and spare not. You know what I mean? And lift up our voices like a trumpet. We show the transgressions of our people. We warn our people, man. We go out there and tell you all the evil that you're doing and telling you to change. Fake Israelites are out there saying, oh, we can't wait for the 2/3 to die. We can't wait for Christ to come back and kill you wicked niggas, man. But you know what we do in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under command of General Yohanna? We pray that the Most High, Yahweh, has mercy on all blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. Right. We pray that the Lord has mercy, that he will spare all Israelites, that he will turn from his wrath like he did with Moses. The Lord was going to destroy all of us and make a nation out of Moses, man. And let me tell you something. Moses was a better brother than me. He was. Moses of the tribe of Levi, Mashah in the Hebrew, was better than Yediah. Because if the Lord would have told me that, I bowed. You'd have been Yediah bun Yahweh, Tommy. You'd have been Yediah bun Yahweh. It'd have been a nation of Yediah. Thank the Most High for Moses. Moses said, Lord, Salakia, my Lord, please, Salakia, sir. Adawan, my Lord, please, God. Remember Abraham. Remember Isaac. Remember Jacob. The Lord turned from his wrath and spared us, man. He can do it again. The greatest attribute of our God, our power, Yahweh, is his mercy. The scriptures do say 2/3 must go, but we pray that the Lord spares every Israelite. That's what separates us from your fake Israelite groups and your Christian pastor and church and your Muslim mass and imam, man. That's how you know that the disciples of Christ are in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. I pray you understand. Last scripture, I buy. Give me 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse yeah, let me get that. 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9.
Okay. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. But ye are a chosen generation.
But ye are a chosen generation. After this, drop down to verse 17. But ye are a chosen generation. We are that chosen generation, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. We're the ones that the Most High chose, you know what I mean, to come into this truth, to change our lives. Read on.
A royal priesthood.
Despite what you heard, your fake Israelite groups out there, they are not chosen. They are not the priests of the Most High. They're not.
Right.
They are not the priest of the Most High. That royal priesthood is not in the I.U.I.C. with that purple on like the Romans and the oppressor and the triumphant. It's not your fake Israelite groups like Sakari and the mother Israelite groups, you know what I mean, with the dresses on, you know what I mean? It's not them. It's in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This is that royal priesthood. Read on.
And holy nation.
And holy nation and separate nation. Holy meaning separate. We are that set apart people. Read on.
A peculiar people.
A peculiar people, meaning a special people. Read on.
That ye should shew forth the praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
You should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness. We've been called out of the darkness of this world, called out of America, called out of Babylon. And into what? Read on.
Into his marvelous light.
His marvelous light, meaning the truth, the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge, man. Drop down to verse 17.
Verse 17. Honor all men.
Honor all men, meaning give honor to all men. Be respectful to your brother and your sister, man. Be respectful, you know what I mean, in everything that you do and how you conduct yourself. Read on.
Love the brotherhood.
Love the brotherhood. Love the brotherhood that is in the I.S.U.P.K, because there is no brotherhood outside of the U.P.K. You may think you got brotherhood in the world. You may think you got brotherhood in the Christian church and the Muslim mosque, but you don't. Or in your fake Israelite group. Real brotherhood is in the U.P.K. Read on.
Fear God.
Fear God. Fear the Most High Yahweh. The problem is you fear the oppressor. You fear these heathens, man. Fear God. Read on.
Honor the king.
Honor the king. Give honor to our King Yahweh Shah Mashiach. That's what you have to do as Blacks, Latinos, and First Nation men and women. With that being said, this is the Tuesday night Brotherhood class. Priest and Officer of 1000 Yediah. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all tune in to Black Watch every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Commander GEN.YAHANNA breaking it down so heavily, you know what I mean? Every Monday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tune in to Commander GEN.YAHANNA Black Watch every Monday. Tune in to Let a Hebrew Speak every Monday morning from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. with 12 Shield General Hazayan or 6 Shield General Kathum Kabal, or my big brother priest and officer of 5,000, Marah, or my brother priest and officer of 500, Ibahaya. Tune in to Ash Ye the Prophets every Wednesday with 12 Shield General Mayaka Allah, myself, and officer of 500, Ibahaya. Tune in to Crossline Radio every Thursday with Captain Zaria, Captain Katazah, 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. Tune in to my big brother priest and captain of my big brother priest and captain of 13,000, Gadal Hall. You know what I mean? And captain of 10,000, Carmel All. And my big bro, the officer of 5,000, Double One, man. Tune in to them brothers, you know what I mean? One West Radio in California. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the class off the priest and officer of 500. I buy you.
Yeah, preach the gospel of our flag. Teach the gospel flag. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge Security Announcements. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting out on 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohanna. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, found in the book of Numbers, 18 verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. I.S.U.P.K means tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever among you will like upcoming holy convocations is the Lord's Passover, which is found on the 14th day of the first month. This Passover will be Friday, April 15th, 2022. It's found in the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verses 1 to 51. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 4 through 5. The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5, verses 7 through 8. And the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, verse 17. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, and Lapan Wak, which means turn and face the east. That's in that direction. And when we're gonna say the Lord's Prayer in the Ibarra from Hebrew, and when we pray, we lift up our holy hands as such. So this is the Lord's Prayer in Thy Barak for the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shabka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakutka.
Malakuka.
Tabah.
Abaa.
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barakza.
Aratza.
Kawah.
Kawah.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Ashamayim.
Ashemayim.
Thundernow.
Thundernow.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Ka.
Ka.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalat. Lanaw.
Wasalak now.
Ka. Wawam. Now.
Kabawaf now.
Ka. Salat. Now.
Kasalak now.
Ka. Wawam. Yanaw.
Kabawaf you now.
Wala.
Wala.
Abayayana.
Nabi Ayan now.
Wanasaya one.
On the side one.
Abah.
Oh.
Awashayana.
I was shy now.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rad.
Rad.
Ayah.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwa.
Amalakwa.
Ha'ala.
Wala Allah.
The para.
About the power.
Awalayim.
Abalayim.
Aman.
Amen. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done
Thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread.
and forgive us our debts
Forgive us our debts
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom
and the power,
and the power
and the glory,
and the glory
forever.
Right.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry.
Sorry, with his turn also, part of the announcements, we're still raising up funds for the van donations. We try to get a raise up to 2,500. So if anybody want to put donations to the school van, you're more than welcome to do so. And with that, we're gonna give the brothers one sisters, Yeshabi, which means to be seated. Brothers, we're gonna give one courtesy salute. Man of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatham.
Guys on top, we say it's down star, which turn and face the sisters. Sisters, Amadu, which means to stay. Sisters, your Amadu Shabbat, it's your head bowed and covered, your feet connected at a 45-degree angle, and your right hand claps over your left. And when we salute, you'll salute back. But of Israel, we'll give the sisters one courtesy salute. But of Israel, Amadu Shabbat, Amadu, bro.
Yahweh Shamar Al Thumb by Shem Yahushua.
Yashita, we say it down, bless the sisters.
I got a question.